Good day, everyone! With the New Year's event come and gone, it's time for us to welcome in the warmth and renewal that comes with the season of spring. And what better way to welcome in this time of flowers and joy than the Little Ladies' Day Festival? But when did this festival begin, and what inspired all of the trappings we see decorating the streets? Today, we'll discuss this, and welcome in spring together. The story of Little Ladies' Day begins during Ul'dah's Thorn Dynasty. This was a time when Hyr ruled over the city-state and not the Lalafel's line of Ul. If you wish to know more about that, I'd suggest listening to my tale on Ul'dah's history. But, at the current moment, Ul'dah is being led by Baldrick Thorn. As Sultan, Baldrick was responsible for getting Ul'dah back on track, making sure their nation became something respectable, stable, and of course, profitable. This intense level of responsibility manifested itself in Baldrick's more aggressive style of leadership. He had a short temper and was quick to anger, which meant he was swift to deal out punishment as well. Baldrick would only ever have one child, a daughter named Eorzea. To her, Baldrick gave all his love, and he desired to make Ul'dah's future bright to ensure that she would live happily as well. But Baldrick was a man of extremes, and since Ul'dah wasn't yet perfect for his beloved daughter, he confined her to the castle to make sure no harm would befall her. To that end, he assigned 50 handmaidens and seneschals to tend to her every need. But as the princess would grow up, her desire to see more of Ul'dah and more of the world would grow with her. She had seen the same decorated halls and royal dresses all her life and desired something new. An opportunity would arise when the palace was visited by a young miller girl and her mother. The princess pulled the girl aside and insisted that they trade clothes. Of course, the miller girl was excited to dress like a princess and happily agreed. Now dressed like a commoner, Eorzea easily slipped out of the castle unnoticed and began her day of wicked fun. This plan didn't go undiscovered for long, as the servants realized that the one dressed like a princess wasn't Eorzea at all. Upon learning of this, Baldrick became furious, leaping to assumptions and believing that this was a plan created by the poor family to hurt his daughter. He ordered his personal paladin guard and the entire standing army to scour the city and search for his daughter. He also demanded that the little girl and her family be tortured and committed to the royal oubliette. The little girl's house was turned upside down and ruined in search for the missing princess. But, in a turn of events, the commoner told the Sultan what he wanted to hear. She willingly admitted where Eorzea might be found. Turns out, the princess hadn't gotten very far from the palace at all, and she was quickly discovered with the miller girl's help. Having heard what extremes her father went to, the princess returned to the palace in a huff. She confronted her father, explaining that everything was her idea and that he would have condemned innocent people on a whim. She begged her father to leave the little girl and her family alone. But after realizing the sins he had committed, Baldrick felt he needed to do better than that. He had the little miller girl and her family brought before him in the audience chamber. He apologized in ways he had never done before, and he even ordered his royal architects to build the family a new and better home. But the most surprising move was when he bowed before the young miller girl who had only been honest with him. He declared that he would humble himself and become the girl's personal seneschal for an entire day. So it was that this young commoner was waited on hand and foot by the Sultan of Ul'dah. Baldrick insisted that this was the least he could do, and that regardless of birth or standing, all girls in his nation are fair ladies in their own right and should be treated as such. The entire city-state was shocked by this. Baldrick had a reputation for being cold and leading with an iron fist, so to see him lower himself to the service of seneschal painted him in a new light. This act of spontaneous humility became so popular and widespread that Baldrick created an official holiday. Once a year, the city-state would be decorated for all the fair ladies of his nation to enjoy, and, via random lots, he would select one commoner girl to serve as their seneschal all day. He would humble himself over and over again for the sake of the miller girl and her family. And thus the traditions of Little Lady's Day were born. Of course, with the passing of the Thorn Dynasty in multiple centuries, this holiday would evolve over the years. At its core, Little Lady's Day is still designed to celebrate and enrich the lives of every fair lady in Eorzea. But it has become more than that. It has also become a celebration of early spring, as well as a time of affection and companionship. After all, what is a fair lady without her handsome seneschal? Husbands, brothers, friends, and would-be lovers present themselves as servants to their special lady as a sign of playful humility during this holiday. Fashion shows, special performances, and art competitions are just a handful of things that have been added to the Little Lady's Day festival to enrich the holiday. But it will ever be an event that is intended to make even the lowest born of the land feel like a princess of the realm for at least one day of the year. I hope you all enjoyed this tale of the Princess Edvia and the Miller Girl. This holiday should serve to remind people, especially leaders, that no matter how powerful or important you think you are, we're all just people at the end of the day, and everyone deserves to be treated fairly and with respect. So, with this lesson in your hearts and the story in your mind, I'll leave you to your own devices. Just as Baldrick Thorn presented his services to the Miller Girl, I shall continue to present myself and my work to you all. After all, what is a storyteller without their audience? So, until next we meet, stay safe, my friends.